Welcome to Coffee Talk with Liquidshano 1973, an inspirational podcast about the ups and downs of life and everything in between. Here's your host, Shane Lakita.
Hey guys, what's going on, everybody? How are you? Welcome back to another episode of Coffee Talk with Liquidshano. I'm here on a Sunday right now recording this, getting another episode in because I've been feeling certain ways and wanted to make sure that we were all in this together and continuing to fight the good fight and continuing to encourage each other and lift each other up and everything. And the response has been phenomenal so far for the new year. I've gained some new followers. I've also got other people that were interested in buying some merchandise and then also leaning in on the Patreon page as well. So lots of things moving, a lot of things going the right direction here with this podcast and really trying to be able to elevate my performance in this space and then also use it as a therapeutic aspect of my life to be able to continue to move forward and be the best version of me. And I do that by talking into a microphone with all of you. So here we are. We're about 3/4 of the way through January. And hopefully you're really in a good spot. Maybe some of those New Year's goals and aspirations that you set for yourselves, those promises that you set for yourself, or the things that you're there. Are you in a good place? Are you in a place where you feel like you're getting things under control and you are in a good spot? Or do you feel like you're behind the eight ball and really kind of failing off and falling off to the sunset here, that we are all trying to be able to continue to move forward? So either way, it's a great moment of reflection. Here we are 3/4 of the way through January. We're in the year of 2022. Still, things are a lot of external forces and external noise going on all around us, but we're still continuing to try to strive to be the best version of who we are and who we're meant to be, right? And at the end of the day, if you're continuing to put one foot in front of the other, and you're continuing to fight the good fight, then you're in a good spot. It doesn't have to be perfect. You don't have to be somebody that gets it right all the time or anything like that, but you're in a good spot. And I feel like, you need to give yourself more credit like that. And speaking of that, hey, by the way, I wanted to share something with you guys. So I was on my social media a couple days ago here, and I came up with an idea, and I want you guys to know what this idea is as well through the podcast, so you have the ability to be able to participate as well. So here's one of the things that I was talking about is how we're in this space. Like I just talked about just now, is even if you're putting one foot in front of the other, even if you're not passing everything or doing everything you wanted to do or achieving all the goals that you wanted to achieve already, but you're putting your foot forward to go down that road, this is a good thing, right? This is something we could celebrate in. And it's really, really important to write down some of the things that you're most proud of about yourself. So here's the assignment America, right? Assignment America for all of my TikTok following, my Instagram following, and now my podcast following. And here's how it's going to go. In the month of February, what I want everybody to do is I want you to take a piece of paper and I want you to sit down and I want you to gather your thoughts and I want you to really get into a place where you're going to list out a couple items, one, maybe two or three, whatever it is, items that you're most proud of about yourself. Now, this doesn't mean things you need to work on or things you need to make resolutions on or anything like that. Right now, in this moment, items that you are most proud of about yourself. And I want you to write those things down. Now, if you're not artistic and you just want to write it on a piece of paper, great. If you want to put it on a postcard and be able to send it, awesome. If you want to send it in a letter form, great. If you want to make a poem out of it, awesome. If you want to create some artwork or create a card or something like that to be able to describe the one, two, or three things that you are most proud of about yourself. Now, here's the reason why I'm doing this here. My P.O. box is going to be in my bio, but in case you don't know, it's P.O. Box 1718. And it goes to Scarborough, Maine, SCARBOROUGH, Maine, 04070. That's my P.O. Box number. So every single person that sends me something that is basically celebrating in themselves, I'm going to send you, every single person, I'm going to send you a couple stickers from the podcast, from Liquidshano Radio, from Coffee Talk, from Kindness Just Because, or whatever else that we're trying to be able to do. And as we move forward, you're going to get a sticker. At the end of the month of February, probably in the first week of March, we're going to draw two people that submitted their entries to be able to get merchandise, whatever piece of merchandise that they want, whether it's a hoodie, whether it's a sweatshirt, whether it's a cutoff shirt, whether it's a workout shirt, coffee mug, whatever it is, you're going to get your choice of whatever that can be. And you're going to be able to celebrate in the fact that you put yourself out there. Now, here's the reason why I'm doing it this way. Now, it could easily be done by somebody going on there and inputting a message or typing in a quick comment or whatever else of what you're most proud of about yourself. But here's the reason I'm doing it. And I want you guys to follow along here. So what I'm trying to do is I'm trying to get everybody to believe wholeheartedly in the concept of on paper, on purpose. So if I write something down, it has more meaning behind it. It literally is letting the ink flow through my fingers into the pen, onto the paper, and it makes it a little bit more meaty. It makes it a little bit more real and something that's substantial to be able to put on the piece of paper. So here you are, you write these things down, now it's on paper and it's on purpose. Why do I make you guys send it in an envelope or as a postcard or whatever else to my P.O. box? Because now you're releasing it into the world. You're setting it out there for people to know this is what I'm most proud of and this is how I want to do this. And so what I'm going to do is I may even do a podcast about it. I'm going to read some of these comments as they come in. I may not be specific of who wrote what, but I'm going to celebrate in the fact that these are some of the things that people love about themselves. And in the month of February, seeing as how it's Valentine's Day, it's going to be the love of you. It's going to be what do you love about yourself? And so now that it's out in the universe and it gets to me, now you're going to get something in as a reward to be able to celebrate in that space, and you can park there for a little while. And we're going to get everybody together, and we're all going to just have a great time celebrating in each other and celebrating all the great things that we do, that we should be doing more often and celebrating in that. But often we are too much of our own worst critics to be able to go down that road. So that's the plan, guys, the month of February. So if you want to start sending them out now, you can. P.O. Box, like I said, 1718 Scarborough, Maine, 04070. You guys can send them out there. All the month of February, I'll be returning with you'll at least get a sticker out of the situation as it is. But this is just more so to help promote positivity and love and everything else. Okay, all right. So that's the plan. That's the scoop of what I'm going to be working on in the month of February. So hopefully my PO box is so jammed up that they're saying, hey, you need a bigger PO box or come get your stuff because it's jamming up. We'll see how it goes. So anyway, here's what I wanted to talk about this week. So earlier this week, I talked about on a TikTok that I recorded. I also shared it on No Finish Line Nation and some other outlets that I have. Basically, it's about saying it. Now, here's what I mean by saying it. If you are thinking something or you are in a space where you see something that is amazing that happens or see something that somebody does that's well or see somebody succeed at something, and you're thinking in your mind to yourself, should I say something even though I'm not really in the right place to say it? Should I say something even though they don't really know me or anything like that? Or should I say something because I normally don't do these kind of things and it's just going to open up that dialogue to something that might mean something a little different or anything like that, or maybe it'll take me the wrong way or whatever. Here's what I'm saying. We have to stop getting in our own way. And when we say kindness just because, or we say be kind to somebody to be able to go out and do something, that matters. And if you are kind to somebody, its kindness comes in all kinds of different forms. Kindness can come in monetary fashion. Kindness can come in volunteering. Kindness can come in just giving somebody a hug or a compliment or a love or a high five or whatever it is. Kindness comes in many different forms. Now, the easiest form is through a verbal compliment to somebody or telling somebody that they did a great job or telling somebody that you love them. How about all those people that are in your life, whether it's family or friends, that you haven't talked to in a long period of time, and whenever you guys do get to talking to each other, you feel like it was just yesterday and you didn't miss a beat and you guys talk for hours or whatever. But in the meantime, what's stopping you from calling them right now to tell them, I love you? In the meantime, what's stopping it from you to be able to go to somebody and say to them, hey, you mean something to me. You matter to me. You're amazing. You do great things. I'm inspired by you. All these words, why are we so conscious of ourselves and we get in our own way to know that we should be complimenting people? We should be giving people the boost up and the lift up that they need to be able to keep moving forward in those spaces, to actually hear a compliment from somebody that says you did a great job. Now, I know if you're like me, a lot of times when you hear compliments or you hear people say something about you, a lot of times I deflect, right? Somebody comes to me and says, hey, Shane, your podcast is amazing. I love what I heard there on the podcast. I love everything about it. And then I get into the space where I'm like, oh, I'm just a guy recording a podcast. I like beer. I like whatever, blah, blah, blah. I'm trying to lose some weight. I'm also trying to be, the most positive influence that I could be, trying to be kind. Yeah, but thanks. Thanks so much. I appreciate it. I'm working at it. I'm trying to get there. All those little conversations that I just had are literally negative things, right? I belittle the fact that somebody just came to me and complimented me about something that I do well or that they're inspired by. And I end up criticizing myself. I end up critiquing the things that I'm doing, something that's from their perspective that they're inspired by, that they love to see. I'm looking at their perspective and saying that doesn't matter because what matters is my own perspective and here's how I feel about me. And we do it so damn often. We do it so much. When somebody compliments, we deflect. When somebody brings something to you, we don't park there for a moment and celebrate in that. As a matter of fact, we might even give the whole yeah, but. You know what the yeah, but is? Yeah, but means if somebody comes to you and says, hey, I really wanted to compliment you on the way you did that. Yeah, but I could have been better with that. Or yeah, but, I wasn't really feeling up to par. I could have been better. I could have complimented more. I could have completed the job a little bit more efficiently, maybe saved a little bit of money. Or whatever it is, the excuses and reasoning that we have behind it, the but comes into play where it negates all the positive things we're trying to be able to do. And we as humans, we do it all the time. All of us. I think every single person that's listening to this podcast right now has done it at one time or another. And you are feeling me on the fact that we deflect so often. And then we're always doing things for other people that we often don't necessarily celebrate in the things that we are doing well. We just do them because they're supposed to be done. If I'm a parent, I'm supposed to feed my kid. I'm supposed to take care of my child. I'm supposed to give them advice. I'm supposed to help them through the trenches. I'm supposed to walk them through life and do all those things. But that's expected of us. So we don't think of it as anything extraordinary. We think of it as just being, that's my job and I'm a parent. When in all actuality, you should see how many parents that are out there that are not good parents, that don't deliver on those things, that don't have the fortitude and the desire to be able to help an individual to continue moving forward. A lot of deadbeat dads and moms that are out there, and you aren't that way. So instead of celebrating the fact that you say to yourself, I'm doing this, I'm going against the grain, I'm going against the normal easiest path of resistance, and I'm going to continue to move forward with making sure that my kid is in the best place that he could be or she could be, and we belittle what we're doing. It's my job. It's what I'm supposed to do. I'm a parent. Parents are supposed to help their kids. Parents are supposed to be there for their kids. Parents are always supposed to, whatever it is that you want to give yourself a list of, that you then belittle the great things that you're doing for your family, your kids, and everybody around you. And we do it so often. So really the purpose of even the fact of us mailing out what we're most proud about ourselves is it fits right in alignment with this. Because if you can pick up the phone and you can reach out to somebody that you haven't talked to in a little while, somebody that maybe, you're really good friends, but, life gets in the way and you get busy and families are happening and everything else and blah, blah, blah. And you got all this different stuff going on and the S is hitting the fan over here. You're busy at work. You got kids, you got appointments, you got sports, you got all this different stuff. And then you just kind of forget sometimes to communicate with each other. But how nice would it be to hear from a friend of yours that just reaches out and says, I love you for you. And I love you for being the person that you are. And I love you for always supporting me. And I love you for no matter how long or how far distance we are from each other, I always feel like you're in my hip pocket. And I always feel like I'm just one phone call away. How good would that feel if you got that phone call and you got that message from somebody? From a person that wasn't afraid to actually say it. So the theme of this podcast is say it before it's too late. How often have we lived our lives, anybody that's lost anybody in their life whatsoever, whether it's a friend, a family member, or whatever, and then afterwards you always say to yourself, I could have done more. I could have said more. I could have reached out more. I could have loved them more. I could have showered them with more praises and accolades and been there for them and do those kind of things, even though you probably were there pretty much for them anyway. But we didn't take the time to be able to continue to invest in that space. And we just let life get in the way. And the next thing you know, surprisingly, if we lose somebody, They're gone. And next thing you know, we're looking up going, what just happened? I missed out on my opportunity. I don't understand. Like, how could this happen to me? How could this happen to them? Now I feel like it's too late, right? And a lot of times, if we're in the space of thinking that it's too late to be able to do the things that we need to do or say the things that we need to say, then we live in regret. And then we live in this space of, man, I just wish that I could have. I wish that I did. So why do we live in the space of I wish that I could have and I wish that I did? We should really take advantage of everything that we can right now, every opportunity that we have to compliment somebody. Tell them you love them. Tell them they did a great job. Tell them they're amazing. Boost them up. Stroke their ego. Do whatever it takes to make somebody feel better in the situation. Because one, you never know what that person's going through at that moment in time. And you never know how much your words can matter to them, especially if it comes from somebody that they care about or somebody that they really respect the views of or anything like that. Right? But if you live in this space of me all the time and you're always just kind of like going through the grind and doing what you got to do, not necessarily me, but maybe you're going through your family or you're taking care of your kids, or your husband or your wife or whatever else, and we get through the motions, but instead we forget to say the things that we need to say. We forget to invest in other people the way that we should be. The people that we care for, the people that matter to us, even people that we don't even care for, or I should say don't even know personally, by volunteering or giving back or going to do food shelters or veterans homes or giving back to communities or volunteering for cleanups and different stuff that goes on. Whatever it is, your sense of giving back and love and kindness matters and comes in so many different forms. But if you don't do it, then you may regret that you didn't do it. And that's really the space that I'm living in right now. I'm going to tell you guys a little story. It's a personal story, but I wanted to share it with you. So on Friday, I got a phone call from a family member. They were pretty broken up on the phone call. They called me up, and I hadn't seen this person call me in a while. And so they called me. And they said, hey, listen, I just wanted to let you know. And they were, crying and broken up, and they were sad. And they said, your cousin, which I have like 9 or 10 cousins, but your cousin, she lost her life. On Friday, they found her, and I wanted to let you know. Now, this cousin and I, we grew up together, for the most part, just outside of Worcester, Massachusetts, and we were right about the same age. So we went to communion together. We did all kinds of stuff together. We were always hanging out with each other, all the families and the cousins and everything else that we were doing. Christmases were spent with each other. As you got older, you got different types of gifts from Santa. You got whatever else. And we were growing up, and we all grew up together. And so I was really saddened to hear this. But then the guilt trip came through. And the things I said to myself was, man, I haven't talked to her in a while. I haven't told her how much she means to me in a long time. And now it's too late. Now they told me that she's gone. And so I kind of talk to her the best that I can, even though she's gone. But on the same token, why didn't I say anything sooner? Why couldn't I have put a calendar appointment in to call somebody in my family that I haven't talked to in a long time? Just to tell them, hey, I love you. Hey, you know what? You mean something to me. Hey, I hope you're well. Especially if they struggle. Especially if they're in a space where they're struggling with, whether it's addiction or struggling with different things that are going on or whatever else, or just life in general. Maybe they're in the doldrums and they're not really feeling up to par and they feel sad or they feel down in the dumps or whatever. And my words can help to bring them out of that or bring them to a better place. Why didn't I say it sooner? Why is it always regret afterwards and me thinking to myself, why didn't I go down that road of letting that person know that I care about them? We all do it. All of us live in that regretful form. If it's too late on the situation where maybe they pass or maybe they're gone or whatever else that happens, and then we sit there and we hem and haw over the things. Now, mind you, I don't regret the things that I've done. And I don't regret the fact that, with time and space and things like that and family and different walks of life and different people that we're, traveling with and those kind of things, sometimes we do get lost in the fray. But I do regret just not reaching out every once in a while, even if it's just a text message to send to somebody to say, hey, I love you. I just wanted to tell you that I care about you and you're amazing. Something just as simple as that, with no repercussion. No, I don't need anything in return. I don't need anything coming back to me. It's just a sign of love and kindness. And after Friday went down, I thought to myself, you know what? I've got to do this more often. I've got to set up in my phone a calendar appointment that goes off, if it's not daily, every other day, for the alarm to go off at whatever time that has to be, that I'm just going to reach out to one person that I haven't reached out to in a while. Now, my walk of life may be wide and vast because I've spent time in the military. I've spent time all over the country. I've spent time everywhere, overseas and everything else. So it's good that it's given me the ability to be able to think a little bit. Think about people that you never know if they get my text message to say, hey, I'm just thinking about you. Just, I haven't talked to you in a while. I just wanted to say hello. Just wanted to say you're doing great. I see you from afar. I see you and I appreciate you. And just by me saying that, to know what that can do for those folks, what that can do for their morale, what that can do to lift them out of some negative spirits or some down in the dumps feelings or whatever it is, matters. It matters because then I won't live in regret so much if something does happen that I did reach out to that person to let them know I love you, to let them know that I care. Not only for my own well-being, to know that I'm investing in other people and I'm continuing to pay it forward and continuing to be kind, kindness just because, and continuing to move things forward. And I get that, right? A little bit of that is selfishly for me, but a lot of it is for the person that's on the receiving end of those compliments and those caring thoughts and those kind of things. How about going down to the store and buying a 20-pack of cards? Just little thought cards. That's all they are, with like a little phrase or a little, maybe a little teddy bear on them or whatever else you want to be able to do, and writing a nice note to somebody and dropping the note off at a coworker's desk or dropping the note off at your boss's desk or whatever else, just to pay it forward and be kind. Even if it isn't received the way that you might think it received, like you're looking for something monumental or something, oh my goodness, I can't believe you did this for me. Even if it's just received and they get it and they read it, and then they think about it later on when they're at home and they're like, wow, I didn't expect that, right? Because we never know what other people are going through. We never know the struggles that they're going through. We never know any of that. We never even know if they've even heard the words, I love you, in so long from other individuals, maybe their spouse or their cared ones or anything like that. You just never know. So the key phrase of this entire podcast is, if you're thinking it, then say it. If you're thinking you miss someone, tell them you miss them. If you're thinking my coworker did a great job on that, mopping that floor over there, even if it's something as simple as mopping the floor, knowing that that person probably doesn't really want to be mopping the floor, but by you saying, hey, I just wanted to tell you, I know how hard that can be on the back, on the body. I just wanted to tell you did a great job, right? Or maybe they turned in a report. And they turn the report and it's stellar, right? But it's right on time and it's everything else. And then you're thinking to yourself, you're reading this report, a couple errors or whatever. Instead of nitpicking, you can walk over to them and say, you know what? Great job getting that in on time. Thank you so much for putting that in. So whatever it is, from a boss's perspective, from a person that's an employee, or it's a family member, or whatever it is, or you might see somebody like one of your kids going through something. And we're always hard on our kids a lot of times because we want them to succeed at school and we want them to be good test takers and whatever else. And sometimes we're not willing to accept the fact that mediocrity might be just where they're sitting at that moment in time. So we start to ride them about things instead of telling them, great job at the effort on that. Good job at trying to be able to continue to work forward. There's some things we could work on. We will. But I just wanted to tell you that right now, in this space, at this moment, that you're amazing. And I appreciate you putting in the work and the effort to doing it, even if the outcome wasn't where you needed it to be. How about somebody that's trying to lose weight, right? Instead of all this thing where we try to like have somebody bring up to us that, oh, I've been working out, I've been this, that, and the other, just complimenting them to say, hey, you know what, I know you've been going to the gym lately. I know you've been working out. I know you've been working hard. It may not, like in your own mind, you've complained about maybe you can't lose weight or whatever else. But what I see somebody that's putting one foot in front of the other and working their ass off to get there and do the things that they have to do. So I appreciate you. And I appreciate you being an inspiration to me, for me to continue moving forward. And I appreciate you being an inspiration to anybody else that might see you while you're working out at the gym or going to the different places that you're going to. Those words matter, and we often forget them. We often forget to pay them forward. We often forget to compliment people. We often do all this stuff, like, especially in the society that we live in right now, where we're so divided down the middle, whether it comes to politics or it comes to religion, whether it comes to any of the different topics that we talk about. We're so divided down the middle that we just forget sometimes that we can be kind to each other. We can love each other, even if we differ in opinions. And paying that forward to compliment somebody might get you a lot further than trying to be able to piss on them with vinegar. It matters. We don't do it enough. We don't have enough of that in society now that we want to be able to take a look at somebody that might have a differing view than you or an opinion than you, or they're strong-willed or anything like that. And you could even compliment them on that. You know what? Hey, listen, I may not agree with you, but I'm going to tell you something. I really appreciate the fact that you stand your ground on the things that you believe in. I really do. I appreciate the fact that you do that. And so do I. And I think that if you and I can communicate with each other, we can really move the needle in the space that we need to be to working together or whatever. A compliment, a kind word, something that you can do instead of the divisiveness and the anger and the vitriol that we see that's out there, that people are just spitting venom at each other and doing whatever. And you get a bunch of Karen situations. You got all this other stuff where people are just angry and pissed. And they're coming at each other because I don't agree with you, so now I think less of you because I don't agree with you. Instead of, I don't agree with you, but I want to talk to you because I respect you. And I respect your point of view. And I respect who you are. We may not end up agreeing with each other after the conversation is over, but guess what we're doing? We're discussing things. We're talking about how to move forward. We're talking about how to live in the same space with each other. We're talking about how to coexist with each other in a positive, great fashion to be able to continue to move the needle in a positive space. But that all stems from being kind to somebody and paying it forward and paying a compliment to somebody and doing the things that you have to do, even if you don't necessarily agree with them. When you kill them with kindness, a lot of times there's no rebuttal. There's no rebuttal. They can argue all they want to, or they can say, oh boy, here we go. Great. That's all right. I've done my job. Somebody asked me the other day, when you give donations from the Avatar money and stuff like that, and you go maybe give some of the homeless folks that are around the area cash to be able to do so, aren't you concerned with where that money goes? Aren't you concerned that they may go buy some booze with that money, or they may go gamble it off, or they may go scratch cards or whatever else instead of putting it towards good use? And I said, no, I'm not concerned. You know why? Because I've done my due diligence. I've done my duty. I've spread kindness, and I've brought it to them, and whatever they choose to do with it is on them. That's on them. It's not on me. I'm not worried about that. I'm not worried about that. Because I have done my job of performing an act of kindness that matters. And you never know how that might change that person's life. I've heard so many stories of homeless individuals that were helped out along the way and treated with kindness and treated with care, that they then get on their feet and get stable ground, and then they want to pay it forward because somebody took care of them and changed their life by one kind action or doing something kind for that person. Doesn't matter to me. Whatever you do with the money, do what you got to do with it. You know? This is what I mean by pushing aside all of our opinions, all of our things, and just be able to be kind to each other and show each other a little bit more love in the world, and do the things that are necessary that we can move this society forward in a way that can be positive instead of negative and divided. We can be cohesive, one unit, one human race, one society, that we can work together. Will we ever get there? Probably not. But do I have hope? I have hope that I know that if I can go ahead and prove it with my actions, one action at a time, somebody else will see me, and then that'll be 2 people. And then hopefully that starts to multiply to 4, and then to 8, and then to 16, and then 32. And we just keep moving forward, right? We keep on getting better and better by communicating with each other and being open-minded with each other and be able to discuss things and be complimentary and be kind to each other and love each other. That word love may make a lot of people uncomfortable, but I'm going to tell you what, it's probably the most important word we can speak of, because love matters. People matter. So I hope that this hits you the way that it hit me today, into knowing that if you're thinking something, say something before it's too late. Be kind to people, one action at a time. Set the example. Keep this thing moving forward, that we can continue to have discussions and talk to people out of a place of love rather than a place of hate. And lastly, don't forget, in the month of February, we're going to be doing that whole entire thing where you're going to be writing down 1, 2, or 3 things that make you most proud of yourself, and get yourself put right into the whole positivity train that we're trying to run here to that P.O. box, okay? Have a great day, everybody. Much love, and we'll talk soon. Love you.
Thank you for listening to today's podcast. Please do us a favor and leave feedback and a 5-star rating on whatever platform that you use.